Hey, good morning, everybody. How you guys doing on this hump day? And I am glad that we are getting some of this volatility back in the market. These last couple of weeks has been great. We're off to a really solid start this week. A good solid start to the month. All right, so we're going to go through and see what our crystal ball has in store for us. And you guys that are joining us on YouTube, I said I'm wanted to welcome you guys in and give you, give you the time to spend the morning with us so you can see what it's like every day in our community. So the first thing I do, I run these scans. I put them up about 7 o'clock, for the guys that want to get an early start, the early birds. And what we're looking for are stocks that are moving today, stocks that have started moving already pre-market. These are the ones that are most likely going to be in play for us. Now, there are a lot of stocks that move, so we have to narrow it down to where it fits our criteria. So these are the scans that I share. My number one focus is always going to be on trades, stocks that are reporting earnings. So I'm going to, keep my eye on the earnings, the stocks that are posting earnings, looking at what they're doing, what their gap is, whether it's up or down, how much volume is coming in. But this is just a generic up and down gapper scan. It's just showing us what's gapping up and down. These are just, very little filters on this. This is just telling us everything that's moving. Now, the scan that I really start to focus on when I'm building my watch list is this ORB pre-market scan. This is the scan that filters out all of the garbage. And, well, I guess I can't say garbage because some of those stocks that it filters out, people do trade. I don't trade penny stocks. I don't trade small cap stocks as a rule. Now, I will trade a small cap here and there if everything looks good on it. But no penny stocks, no OTCs, none of that. So what this does, number one, is filtering. It's looking for stocks that have got up or down at least $1. And then it's filtering them out based on volume. So it's got to have at least 50,000 shares of volume traded pre-market. Also, I took the other filters off because we do have some people in the room that like to trade lower dollar, lower float stocks. So it's gonna put these. It's gonna show you some that I don't typically trade. But the main thing is it has volume. It's got the gap. Then I look for the float. Now I really look for stocks over 50 million share float. I don't like to trade the lower float stocks because they tend to be a little bit too volatile. I don't like things that move extremely fast, which is why I don't trade the lower float, low dollar stocks. I like things that move a little bit slower. It's probably because I'm from the South and that's the way we like things. So that's kind of my personality. That's why we always say when you get into trading, the first thing you need to do is figure out who you are as a trader. What you like. How is it going to relate to your personality? You got to find strategies that fit your personality. You're going to be a lot more comfortable. And I'm also looking at the average true range. What's the average range of that stock? If you look at a stock that only trades 50 cents on average per day, you can probably triple that to get a good idea of how far it may move, on a catalyst. Now, obviously it can move more than that, but then you got to look at, okay, this has a 55-cent ATR. It's already moved $1. How much more is it going to move once the market opens? You have to look at those things. So, this just gives me a good point of reference when it comes to trying to figure out how much potential movement the stock has. So let's go through and see what we've got here. So once they hit, if it kind of meets my criteria, IGC, this is a little bit lower than what I would like. Here's GRFS. So now what I want to do is see what's the catalyst on this. Is this a catalyst that I like and that I feel is going to be tradable for me today? Let's see. So this was a downgrade, analyst downgrade. So it cuts, the price target was cut to a couple of bucks. Let's take a look at this. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they aren't. We just got to look at the chart. See what it looks like. All right, so we've got our 52-week low right here. So we're gapping below the 52-week low. So these are the ones that I like. If we, can't get back over this, then there's a chance we're going to sell off all day. But there's also a chance that we can recover some of this gap. So either way, this has the potential to be a little volatile today. So I'm pretty, this is one that I would definitely put on watch. Because it has potential. Now, obviously, I want it to sell off because, we would have broken through the floor and we could free fall. if it bounces, we're going to run into, several levels of resistance on the way up. But I like this one, GR. So watching GRFS. This one is just a little bit too low of a price stock. Okay, CGC, that's the Canadian weed stock. I stay away from these CGC and TLRY. I don't trade those. I kind of missed the boat on TLRY on that run up. That one was a good one, but I'm not chasing these right now. Not chasing any waterfalls. So let's see, BILI. Let's take a look at what this. See what this looks like. It's a recent IPO from April. 10 cent makes equity investment. I don't know. Not sold on that. I'm not really sold on the news. Not really sold on the news. I'm not sure what I'm feeling about this one. It's got a good window, real good window of opportunity. So we are over 15. We got 16. I'll put it on watch, but I'm going to be a little bit cautious of this. My gut feeling is to be skeptical. But we'll put it on watch. I'm just going to be extremely cautious on this. All right, AA. Now, I haven't been able to find a news story on this. But it did make a pretty good push up. Now, AA is one of those stocks, or this is the stock that we usually look at as kicking off the earnings season. It reports earnings in a couple weeks on the 17th, I believe. But I don't see any news story out right now. The last news I see is back in September, toward the end of September. I don't see anything fresh right now. But this made a pretty good move. So we're going to keep this one, put this one on watch. Put this one on the watch list. I need to keep digging for this. Gotta keep digging for that. Alright, like I said, TLRY is nothing. But I'll keep looking for news on AA. Let me check one other source here. Check one other source. Not seeing co-specific news to justify volatility. Norsk Hydro Aluma plant closing. Maybe it's moving on that news. Said there's Norsk Hydro earlier announced it will halt production at the world's largest alumina refinery. I mean, that could be it. Practice, that's old news. That's from back in September. I'm looking for something new. So it's probably moving on the announcement of this plant closing. Plus, you know, Trump said, like steel, aluminum, all those tariffs are going to remain in place. So that's probably what's causing it to get this bump this morning. But either way, I like, before I start looking at trading something, I like to know Um, I like to know what's going on. So we don't have anything. None of our earning stocks are really kicking off. This LEN, this one doesn't have a gap. Only a 22-cent gap. There's just nothing there. This one has a dollar gap, but no volume. So we don't have any earning stocks. But coming into earnings season, is probably what we're going to see. We're not going to see a whole lot of activity on earnings. Like yesterday, didn't have an afternoon's earnings play. Today we won't have one. It's just right now it's just slow coming into the earnings season. But I am liking the volatility that I see. We were looking at AA. That was the ticker symbol. So now I'm going to buzz through the main gapper scan, because a lot of times we may find a good trade opportunity on a stock that has a little bit higher float. This one filters out stocks. It shows stocks below 500 million share float. Anything with over a 500 million share float, this one does not. It doesn't show. So I just buzz through here. I'm looking for stocks with volume, and then I just look over at the price and look at the price and float to see if it falls into my my wheelhouse here. Now this one isn't a good trader. You see GM, this one doesn't really move much. This is historically, this is not a good mover, so I rarely trade it. It's one of the stocks we followed, when I was teaching. We followed all the automotive stocks, the auto parts, anything to do with automotive technology, engineering, we followed. And so GM was always a dud. It was just like GE yesterday or Monday. GE didn't really move. It might have moved 50 cents at the most, but it took forever for it to do it. And with stocks like that, that's just not what I like to get into. So don't really see anything else. Don't really see much else. GE, it had an all-day range of $1.13, which is nothing. I mean, relative to what it moves every day, yeah, that seemed like a big move, but it wasn't really anything. Nothing for me. But yeah, that was the issue. If you can size up, yeah, if you trade large size, you got the account to do it, then yeah, you would do that. But I don't like sizing up. I don't like, putting that much risk out there. So it's not a trade for me. It doesn't fit my strategy. But people that like, to scout, you throw out big size, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. That's why trading is so beautiful, because there's so many different strategies. You just find the one that fits your personality, that fits who you are, and you go for it. It can, but I don't think GM's gonna make a big move. That's another one that just doesn't move a lot. I mean, for me, it's not. That's why I don't trade those. I'm not gonna size up, so doesn't work for me. Yeah, the stocks that I look for, they have to have larger move potential. I'm not looking for, small moves. I'm not a scalper. Now, later in the day, once we have, once we got a trade or two under our belt, and, I'll get in a trade that I will hold the rest of the day. Case in point, SFIX yesterday. That was perfect. We just held it all freaking day. And, it faded 2 points. So 2 points on, 100 shares, you can't beat that. Especially when you're trading with a smaller account. That's the other thing you got to look at. You got to look at these trades relative to the account size. That's what you got to look at. And that's where a lot of new traders really get derailed, because they're trying to follow these guys that are posting thousands of dollars gains. But if they're trading with $100,000 account and you got $1,000, you're going to get swallowed up. You're not going to last very long. So there's process that you have to follow. There's specific trades that if you want to grow your account and be consistent, you got to look for. And then once you get to that point, you can start, branching out. But I tried, trading, with 2,500, 3,000 shares, 5,000 shares, and I just didn't like it. It just didn't fit me. It didn't suit me. So I just went back to, if I could take 300 shares of Tesla and get 10 points, 300 shares of Baba or, Netflix or something and get, 5 to 8 points, hell, I'm happy. But like I said, it's got to fit your personality. If you like the rush and you like that adrenaline rush, go for it, man. You got to be you. Because if you're trading unnatural, you're going to lose every time. I don't know. SFIX, I typically don't look to trade stocks on continuation because you really don't see it until the market opens. Like it usually, like now, SFIX really doesn't have any volume pre-market. So you won't know it's going to really do anything until after the market opens. And I like to have everything, in place. I mean, it is, trading with some volume. It just doesn't have a lot of movement in it yet. Yeah, and the reason that people don't talk about it is because they're appealing to people's, natural human emotion. A lot, it's that, yeah, you want to get rich quick. You want to start making a lot. It's like, okay, fine. I'm going to, for a couple of weeks to a month, I'm going to trade small and I'm going to just grind it out. But if in a month I'm not making $1,000 a day, then I'm a failure and I need to go find some place I can do it. It doesn't work that way. It does not work that way. So you have to build yourself up. You have to develop these skills in order to get to where you want to be. We are seeing those of you guys who stuck it out through the summer, who are putting all of those lessons that we learned to use. You're starting to see some green pastures. The highest, the most money, or the highest that I had gotten in this account was just over $1,800 throughout the whole summer, and now we're just over 2,000. And no, I'm sorry, just over 1,500. It seemed like I would get to that $1,500 mark and then implode, and we would get right back down to 1,000. And it was frustrating. But once I figured out, what I was doing wrong and what the summer kind of pointed out, we cleaned it up, and we've already doubled our account. Yesterday was the push over $2,000. But It's just a matter of staying consistent, trading within yourself. Just because you get one or two good trades, you can't go outside of yourself. You still have to trade within yourself. You got to stay consistent. Consistency is the key. I'm using 100 to 300 shares, depending on the price of the stock. And I'm not using, all of my buying power. Because what happens when you use too much buying power, you may not be able to get out of a trade if it goes against you. Sometimes the system gets kind of confused, and it's thinking you're trying to take a new trade and you don't have any buying power. So so all of those things. So what we're looking at today, I'm not big on today's watch list by any means. But watching GRFS, BILI, and AA. And like I said, I'm not really sold on it just yet. We'll see how this morning shakes out. All right, so let's take a quick look at the swings here. Bring this back up. All right, so this AOS, which started out extremely strong. Thanks to the market, started the sell-off again yesterday. And this SPGI, this one's still in play. As long as we can hold this 200, the market is what stopped these in their tracks. Both of these stocks were well on their way. But you look at what happened to the market. We were poised for a nice bounce off this 20 Monday, and you can see what happened. Nice gap up, we pushed up, and then we sold off. Yesterday was another big indecision day. Not much going on. Look at today. We're back up. We put in a high of, let me see, I can't see it. We put in a high of 292.74, almost hitting 293. So I would love to see it take out the high of Monday and push to 293. So, the market is looking good. As long as we can get this back going in the right direction, it may salvage some swings for this week. If not, I may be holding into next week. Now, that's kind of the only disappointment I have for this week is what the market did. And since we are long biased in our swings, this doesn't give me any strong conviction right now. So we'll see how the day shakes out. With all the stocks that I have on my watch list, what I do is I wait for the open. And I let the market tell me what direction it's going to take the stock. No, I haven't taken any of my Facebook short off. I'm looking for mid 50s, like 155 on down. So I'll be holding it for a little bit. I still think there's going to be some more there's going to be some more hits that they're going to take. And that's why I took it in my long term. My longer term account, because I know I'm going to hold it for a while. Oh, that's nice, Dan. You've been holding it for, you've been holding it. Oh, you said 167. Okay. You see, I opened my Facebook short on Friday. But I only got in at 163. I didn't get that good of an entry. So I only got in at what was it, 163, 163.50s? 163, let me look it up. Yeah, 163.52. That's what I got in at. So looking for it to continue to sell off. so let's get set up here. So right now everything's flat lines. Everything has flat lines here. So let's see. So we have 45.17. I don't know, man. It looks like it's got some. We got 44.14. Right there. Got some support in through here. That, you know, looking at the daily chart, that's some pretty solid support level there. And the next one is a point up at 45.17. Yep, so we'll see how AA opens up. This is the one that I am not so keen on here. 1487. I mean, it's putting in a bull flag here. So I would expect this thing to break it. So you've got a pre-market high here. And then, let's see, what's the other one? GRFS. Yeah, this one, it's just not trading. See, 1985 was a 52-week low. But I'm just not seeing any good price action on this. It's a 52-week low. All right, so we sit back and wait. Wait for the bell. See, AA is looking bullish too. Over the pre-market high. Man, this is what I hate. Sucker broke before the market even opened. A couple minutes before the market opened, it broke. So it kind of throws you off as to what we're gonna see. You know why I just couldn't dress like a normal little soldier. right, so we're just kind of wait. I try to let that first 5 minute candle print so things can get settled in. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. Oh gosh. Should have caught it on the break. We're on a 2 minute candle here. Dang, nabbit. This is what we get caught up in all the time. This thing just took up my whole freaking trading range. Whole freaking trading range. Man, that stinks. So I got about a minute and a half to wait. GRFS could be a short here. As well. This is kind of where I am. See if we break that opening range low. And that's the pre-market low right there. You got to kind of be careful with it. So we're watching both of these. All right, so we caught it short on the break. We're waiting for that opening range breakdown. I want to see it get through 1948.
SFIX.
We need to see it get through this 1950 level.
FB.
Doesn't have a whole lot of volume, which is gonna hurt the move. Looks like BILI was good too. That one may make a stronger move. Because this one is kind of stuck. Not a whole lot of volume on this. See this, we're working on a 52-week low. So the fact that this thing isn't selling off hard is not a good sign. Not a good sign. No volume on this. Yeah, we don't have anything that's really nothing's really shaken out this morning. This doesn't have any volume. So I got my finger on the trigger on this. It did not pick up any volume like we were hoping. Just did not pick it up. So with no volume, no movement. AA's flatlining. BILI, I can't short it anyway. Have no shares. So now SFIX, didn't have any, you know, it really wasn't making any moves pre-market. It was just kind of sitting there. But at the open, it's the one that took off and gave the most, the biggest move. Which is, you know, really what we were talking about, how you really don't know until the market opens, and when it gets some volume, you don't know what it's going to do. But it's selling off pretty good. Not as hard as it did yesterday, but you know, that was a pretty good opening trade. And it's still bleeding. Still bleeding. I guess I should have threw that one on my watch list. But I can't chase it here. I gotta wait. See if it's ever gonna bounce. Yeah, don't rub it in. I don't like trading biotech stocks, but you know, sometimes it'll give you, you know, a little bit of bone. It'll throw you a bone here and there. But this was the only stock. This GRFS was the only one that set up. BILI just broke the 5-minute open range low. And AA is still trading within its 5-minute opening range. So this one is, surprisingly, it's been chewing through 50 a little bit. So I don't know. We just have to wait and see. You know, 48 was a pre-market low. Or was it? What was the pre-market low? 46. 1946. So I was a couple off.
AMD.
So this will have to crack. I think if we can crack 1950 down through 46, it might go. But right now, it's just way too much support holding this thing up. And no volume. So And SFIX tried to bounce on the 2 minute. That's not a big enough. I need at least 3 candles. mm, 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 mm. Man, after such killer mornings, the last 2 mornings, today is a slow day here. I'm looking at the stop on GRFS. I'm looking at like 1975. But it says if SFIX sets up, I'm dumping this and moving over. But I need a defined bounce. We're just not seeing the action today.
CENX.
Looks like SFIX has some strength today. Looks like it might be pushing through. Man, what a slow morning. Alright, so I'm gonna kill this. This isn't working. We have no volume. And I don't want to eat this risk. I mean, as weak as this thing looks, it's just got way too much support. Yep, my finger is on the button here. So still got my eye on the SFIX. Was waiting for the bounce on it. And then the rejection. But I think there's a squeeze coming in at some point.
MCHP.
But price action just is not there today. It's just not here.
MCHP.
And it looks like we're stuck in this channel here between the pre-market low and the 5-minute opening range low. It's stuck in a rut. It needs to crack 1950. Just too much support sitting there.
CENX.
Well, this Wednesday has turned into a watching paint dry session. Because that's all we're doing is watching paint dry. I might as well paint my ceiling. And it needs to get through this. And start selling hard. But it's trying. So that's all I can ask. It's not moving the way I anticipated it was going to move. You know, I was looking for it to, you know, once we got below the pre-market low, to start selling, you know, pretty hard. but we didn't get it. That was, 19 was going to be my first target, but hell, I'll be happy if it got to 1925 at the rate it's going. Even under, right now we're sitting on the pre-market low, which, we all know the pre-market low is a significant level of support. And I thought once we got through it, we would start to see some selling. But with no volume, we would need people coming in. I'm not sure if people are just waiting for it to crack that before they come in, or there's just nobody out there at all. But this is like the most boringest trade ever. But in reality, there was just nothing else. Nothing else really set up. BILI never set up. AA never set up. Nothing on our watch really set up. Yeah, this GRFS, I was looking for a point on this. I was honestly looking for a point, at least a point on this. Because I know that, like you said, the ATR wasn't that great. But I felt we could at least get a point. If we can get selling off, we would at least grab a point on this. But we know a stock needs volume to make these type of moves, and maybe if I can get like 10,000 followers, I can make stocks move. So I can make some money. Man, I'd like a I'd be a tobacco farmer. No, I got to start out with tobacco first. And I get the tobacco down, then I can move into the weed. Yeah, just when I was getting ready to dump this GRFS to run into SFIX, it started to work. So that's the story of my life. Story of my life.
WTW.
And WTW started selling off was see what I can do with it. Damn. How did I miss that? Ba, 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 ba.
WTW.
Did I miss it? On here.
SFIX.
I never hit any of this. It didn't hit any of my scans. Damn. I would have loved to catch that one earlier.
WTW. SFIX.
Yeah, hell, I wish this stock would move like that on low volume. Shh. Like, damn. Let's do something. Yeah, CJ, you said it. It's a turd. Matter of fact, I gotta go to the bathroom right now. It's making me sick. It's upsetting my stomach. All right, guys. I'm rolling my computer to the bathroom, so you know, don't be offended by here if you hear some bombs drop. Yeah, I'll do a courtesy flush. Don't worry. You go, market gods. Right there at you. Right back at you. Now we got people buying it up. But we gave it a chance. Didn't work. So my morning was crap. Then on a stock like this, you know, I don't want to put my stop in because, you know, these with low volume, you can get these quick inadvertent spikes. That could hit my stop and I end up losing more than I want to lose. So I don't really want to put in a hard stop on this. So I've got to keep my eye on this. Boop, boop, boop. Nah, I can't do it. Can't do it tomorrow. I'll be back next week. Now Wednesdays prove to be garbage. I'll do it on Tuesday. Last week we did it on Tuesday. It was a good day. Yesterday, Tuesday was a good day. So I may move it to Tuesday next week. Looks like hump days are just not gonna cut it. Yeah, but we got about 8 more minutes, so we'll see what happens. No, nothing's really following through. Oh boy. No, after 10:30, usually the volume, any volume that was in the markets dried up. And then I tried, I'll go to lunch at 11 and then just come back and watch the market coming out of lunch to see if, we got anything. But, every now and then you get a good start, kind of like what SFX was yesterday, where You get the morning move, you know, it's pretty solid. And then you could get in and just hold the rest of the day. It just kind of trends. You know, those are the perfect days. So I don't, you know, after 10:30, that's about it. If something's going to trend, it's just going to keep trending. Something gets breaking news, you know, then you're going to get some movement on breaking news. But this you know, but this stock, and this is not uncommon for stocks that are making 52-week lows or 52-week highs. You're gonna have support. You're gonna have people that don't want this thing to sell off. All right, so I'm gonna dump it. You got people that don't want this thing to sell off, and they will fight it. And then you got some that don't want it to pop. $700 is, it's gonna be tough. I would wait. You know, you can open it up, but then I would add to it. You know, $1,000 was tough enough. You know, 1,500 is tough enough. But yeah, I mean, it can be done. You know, you just have to take your time. You have to take your time. You can't rush it. All right, guys. Well, I dumped this thing. There's nothing really happening this morning. Look at it run. God dog. I mean, you can feel the momentum shift. You know, this thing could not sell off. So I was hoping that it would test 46 again, and if it failed, I would take it off. But it didn't even go back and retest it. Didn't even go back and retest it. So that's going to do it for me this morning. I'm going to wait and come back this afternoon, and we'll see what we can do. But thank you guys for hanging out. We'll probably, you know, I may do this Tuesday next week, since Tuesday has seemed to be the best days. So we'll come back Tuesday. And see what we could do. Now I won't stream later today.
SFIX.
But it's all about being patient. And, you know, sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But you've got to follow your plan no matter what. Stick to your plan. All right, guys. So take it easy. I will be back next week. Yeah, I'm going to the bathroom. I'll be back next week.